The Nintendo Switch 2 has officially been revealed, and now we know pretty much know everything. Sorry, we need to know the release date, the specs, the games, even the price. Is it going to be good or bad? Personally, I was really excited during the Nintendo Direct presentation, but I did see the word some minor things that are bugging me more and more as I read about them. But hey, you know how this goes. Here are a couple reasons why the Switch 2 may be a big W, and a couple reasons why it could be a big L. Which all do you think? Win or lose? Sorry, this hair. But we'll start before we get to the L. Before we get to an L. Before we get to an L, let's go with the W's. The W's. First of all, it's the powerful and future-proof, or the future-proof of the Switch. First of all, it's a bit larger than the OG Switch, but the thickness remains the same, meaning it's going to still be comfy to hold. The screen now features a 1080p resolution LCD screen, which is better than 720p that the original Switch had. Also supports HDR, which means the colors will look more vibrant, and overall experience is going to be better. Switch 2 is powerful and it now allows 4K resolution and 120 FPS, which is like the biggest step ever. I never imagined Nintendo would brag up the resolution and frame rate during a presentation, but here we are. You can see you can see how proud of what they had. We can finally now be proud of what they achieved. The new dock even has a built-in fan to cool off the memory card while as we're playing. Gosh, sorry. The new dock even has a built-in fan to cool off the console. Now, what you can do is now we're playing with the power, Nintendo Power. Because Switch 2 will feature a 2056 gigabyte of memory on board. Yeah, which is 8 times better than the OG Switch. Will allow even more storage using SD cards. I don't think we're gonna run out of storage on that thing anytime soon. Like, ain't no way. Now, the next category to go for is the exclusive games. The exclusive games. There are a couple games revealed during the presentation, and to be honest, they are bangers. Obviously, Mario Kart World, a brand new game in the Mario Kart series. So it looks fantastic and allow you to drive virtually everywhere. Whatever that means. We can now go ride on rails, do wall jumps, and features 24 players racing at the same time. New items were shown, costumes are now part of the experience. Oh man, a new Donkey Kong game was also revealed at the end of the presentation, Donkey Kong Bonanza. And this one seems to play along with the concept of environmental destruction. My boy DK can destroy the entire world. I can't wait to test out the limits of this game. Obviously, a couple more games were announced, such as Kirby Air Rider, the Dust Bloods, Dragon Drive, and a new Hyrule Warrior. So you know we'll have plenty to play for this year. You have a lot to play. Next up is the upgraded games. As the Switch 2 is compatible with pretty much every single Nintendo Switch 1 title, it will become the console of choice to play these classic games. Some OG Switch games will receive Nintendo Switch 2 edition re-releases. For example, both Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom will have an upgrade that allows you to experience those games at a better frame rate and resolution. The update will significantly reduce load time and introduce new companion app for your phone for easy navigations. It will allow you to trade items and more to your friends using a QR code. And there's also Kirby the Forgotten Land, which will get a new edition and features bonus DLC called Starcross World. And the whole package just looks better. And Mario Party Jamboree will feature an upgrade that will allow you to use the Nintendo Switch camera to play minigames with your body, which is a concept that really reminds me of an iToy camera on PlayStation. So yeah, Metroid Prime 4 will support mouse control and will have a performance mode that makes it insanely good. All in all, we'll have a lot to play and replay on that console. Even better, some classic Nintendo Switch titles that will receive free updates that will make them run better on Switch 2. Games like ARMS and other games. Now, next one to go for is great compatibility. Like I said earlier, the Switch 2 is compatible with pretty much every single Nintendo Switch 1 title. Like I said earlier, the Switch 2 will be compatible with pretty much every single Nintendo Switch 1 title, and the ones that are not compatible yet are being investigated. As we speak, Nintendo's goal is probably to eventually have every single title running. To do so, it allows you to use all the classic accessories from the OG Switch, the old Joy-Con, the old Pro Controller. They will all work via Bluetooth support. So yeah, your OG accessories are not dead weight. Do not throw them away. Please don't. Next one is the online experience. Nintendo Switch Online will work with the Switch 2, meaning that all the classic titles will be playable on day one. Plus, Nintendo Switch 2 will also get a new app to play classic GameCube games. The launch selection is pretty tame, with only 3 games, but they do plan to add way more in the future. Game chat will also be part of the Nintendo Switch Online experience. This new feature allows you and your friends to talk while playing video games, to share your game screen, and even the video chat if you own the Nintendo Switch 2 camera. I've been doing this using Discord for a while now, but it seems like it's running heavily to the Switch 2 ecosystem. It's really cool. It's actually really cool. This new feature is mapped to the brand new C button, and it will be free up until March 31st of 2026, so everyone will get a chance to try it out, which I think is pretty neat. The next thing that's also W is sharing is caring. What I mean by that? A feature called Game Share was also shown during the presentation, and this one was completely bonkers. Basically, with the Switch 2, you can now share compatible games with friends that have the Switch 2 or a Switch 1 but don't have the game. Only one person needs to buy the game, then they can share it with friends locally, so that everyone can play together with a single copy, and pretty cool. For Nintendo Switch 2 owners, some of the games will be shareable, be online via the game chat feature, which is totally mind-blowing to think of. You can have a group of friends play a game online together. Only one person that owns it, and all of this while chatting with them. How cool is that? Like, how cool is that? As you can see, there's a bunch of reasons why this Switch 2 is a big win, but not all these are positive. There are some bit difficult to swallow with the big reveal. Here's a couple. Now I'll say there's not a lot here, but let's get some. There's not a lot here, luckily, but there's some that the Switch 2 could be a big L, like a big loss. The first one being the price. The Nintendo Switch Direct 2 presentation was 1 hour long, and during that whole hour, there was one thing they haven't discussed. One they didn't even mention. Yep, the price. The price. It's a bit odd to not reveal such an important aspect of a new console. Let's just say you better work some double shifts if you want to buy this thing. The Nintendo Switch 2 console will be priced up to $450 for a console itself, with the pack of Mario Kart will feature for up to $500. To put this in perspective, the classic OG Switch, when it launched, it was at $300. This is not double. It's not double the price, but almost. Obviously, the economic situation is very different today as of 2025, and there's a lot of inflation to consider, all that, but still, this is pretty expensive console. I didn't mention the cost of all the accessories. The Switch 2 Pro Controller, $80. The Switch-Con 2, or the Joy-Con 2, $90. The charging grip, $35. The new beautiful webcam, you want that? Well, guess what? It's $50. Another dock for your second TV, that's $110. Now, obviously, you don't have to buy everything that I just mentioned, but if you decide to do so, well, get ready to sell one of your kidneys, because, oh my gosh. Another thing is the price. Again, you know what? With a leftover kidney, you'll be able to afford the games. That's right. Even the games are pricier this time around. Typically, a Switch 1 game will cost around $60, which is good, with a few exceptions here and there. Now, how much will you spend to get Mario Kart World? How much? That's right, $80. What the F? That's a $20 increase for one game. How much is Donkey Kong Bonanza? Well, it's $70. Yep, it's $70. So it seems like the price may vary, but one thing for sure, you'll be spending more for these games. I'm not the only one that would like lower prices, that's for sure. I mean, if you look at the chat for Nintendo, what was it, the Nintendo Live Treehouse, the chat during that whole presentation was like, drop the price, and that was like a whole hour of people just saying that. Another thing is the physical or digital release. You know how I like to collect a lot of games and just show them off, you know, I like doing that, you know, a little flex, you know what I'm saying? Well, I might need to change that for the Nintendo Switch 2. You see, some games like Mario Kart World and DK will contain lovely red Nintendo Switch cartridges, which is fine, but will also reveal that some other games will only contain a game key. What is that, you may ask? Well, basically, it's a cartridge that you insert in your Switch to prove you own the game, and you'll be able to download it. Why would I go out of my way to own a game store to get a card that will only allow me to download the game? Isn't that like a bit dumb? And does it kind of defeat the whole purpose? I know not all games will act like this, but what was shown since release, Bravely Default HD Remaster and Street Fighter will be the first games to have those game keys. I'm not sure I really like this fake physical game feature. I don't like it. Like a lot. I really don't understand the purpose of it at all. I genuinely don't understand the purpose of it at all. Like, what is it? I don't know. Another feature, not enough new games. While the Nintendo Direct showed us a bunch of cool upcoming games, I know some people feel that there were too many old games that were shown. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Mario Party Jamboree. All these games were already out on the Switch 1. These were like already on the OG Switch. Of course, the Switch 2 version will improve them and add new stuff to it. But I do agree, it's a bit disappointing that we're going to have to shell out even more dollars to play older games that we already completed. I do have a feeling that this will only be an issue for the first few years of the Switch 2, as eventually they will just release new games and will stop padding the older ones, but we'll see in the future. The next thing is the gimmicks. There are a few gimmicks revealed during the Direct that I'm not sure that I like them that much. I'm thinking of that new mouse control feature with the Joy-Con. Yeah, anyways, the new mouse control feature with the Joy-Con. Yeah, of course, it's cool to be able to use them the way to play PC games like Civilization 7, or even use them with first-person shooters like Metroid Prime 4, but I do feel the use will be quite limited. They did introduce a game that specifically requires you to play using their mouse feature, Drag X Drive, and it looks okay, I suppose. I hope this wasn't just a teaser, but I do love because I do love the concept of it. The representation, the visibility, and all that means for people with disabilities. But as a gaming experience, it doesn't impress me that much. The characters are bland. The environments just seem empty, and the game is just meh. The second gimmick they show was that new webcam thing and how it would be used in the new Mario Party Jamboree update. It looks goofy seeing you in a game pulling up Goombas on your head. like hit a question mark block or yelling at a car on screen to move faster. These are like types of features that will be fun for like 50 minutes and you'll be used to a couple of games like WarioWare and Mario Party. And that's gonna be it really. So I'm not really impressed like that much, honestly. So yeah, will the Switch 2 be a huge success, a big W, or will it suffer the fate of the Wii U, or with a big L, big W or L? Only time will tell. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Let me know what y'all think, cause I'll see y'all next time. And I mean, it's kind of hard to say, but if I'm gonna be honest, if I'm gonna give my own opinion, it's kind of in the mix. But I think the Nintendo Switch 2, with a little bit of a head, I think it'll be a big W. Just a little bit, a big W. I think it'll be just the amount of games, the gimmicks, just everything about it.